One of the questions that I get asked all the time is, what happens if I'm born under Mercury retrograde? And I think this is a good question to ask right now because we're in a Mercury retrograde. Now, I often hear from folks that they like periods of Mercury retrogrades when they are born with a Mercury retrograde. So great. I love this for you. There's no hard and fast rule with this. I just want to say that 3 to 4 times a year, for 3 weeks at a time, Mercury is retrograde. So many, many, many people are born with Mercury retrograde. And in fact, there's a whole section of ancient astrologers that didn't think Mercury retrograde was a very big deal because the planet retrogrades so much. So I do think Mercury retrogrades are important. They usually, again, reveal some sort of pivotal thing that was broken, that wasn't fixed, that needed to be fixed, that was about to break, that isn't going to work, that we need to contend with. It's a really good time to review the ways in which a system of our life works, because Mercury is a planet that loves, again, counting, accounting systems work. If you're born with Mercury retrograde, it doesn't mean your communications are doomed. It couldn't. That's not how the skies work. But it does mean that you might be really good at investigating things. It might mean that you're really good at research. It might mean that you are really good at going back and making sure that you've gotten all the information that you need. Now, remember, it all depends on what sign Mercury was in when you were born. It depends on the house that Mercury is in. And mostly because Mercury is the translator, it depends on what planets Mercury is talking to in your chart. Is it conjunct anything? Most people have Mercury and the sun in the same sign because Mercury can never travel very far from the sun. It's never going to be more than a sign away from the sun. So most of us also have Mercury and the sun in the same sign. That's just common. That's just the way the sky works. It's just how it is. But is it talking to Saturn? If so, it might be really disciplined. It might be really good at being critical. It might be really scientific. Again, depends on the sign, depends on the other planets. Is it sitting in some kind of helpful aspect to Uranus? Maybe you're exceptionally experimental or really good with kind of offbeat antics and being able to say things in a way that are shocking and awakening and helpful for other people to hear. So I would really focus more on the planets that Mercury is talking to in your chart. And if you go to the CHANI app and you look at your Mercury, there'll be a section called gifts and challenges. The gifts are the easy aspects that Mercury makes to other planets, and the challenges are the hard aspects that Mercury makes to other planets. And those will tell you what type of Mercury you have. Who is Mercury in conversation with? That is going to be exceptionally important. It also depends on what phase of the Mercury retrograde you were born under. Is it right when Mercury stationed retrograde? Or is it about to station direct? Is it sitting in a near conjunction with the sun within a degree? If so, you're born with a Mercury cazimi, which is phenomenal. Doesn't matter that it's retrograde. If the sun and Mercury are within a degree, it's like an exceptionally special condition. It's not so rare, but just know that okay, you've got Mercury retrograde, but is it with the sun? Or is it sitting with Venus? Or is it sitting with Jupiter? What else is it doing? Just the fact that it's retrograde is not enough information, again, because it's so common, but it does tell us something. Also, is it going to set after the sun? Is it an evening star Mercury? Is it a morning star Mercury? If it's an evening star Mercury, meaning it's behind the sun in degrees or in sign, then it is about going into underworld journeys. If it's ahead of the sun or if it rose before the sun came up, then it is a kind of more triumphant feeling. It is on the rise and it is going to go for information in a much more direct way. All of these factors are really important. So go a little deeper than just I have Mercury retrograde or not. And if you feel like your communications are doomed, then that's just a feeling. It's not a fact. We can work on that. What about your communications feel hard? How can we help you to dissect that lie or that myth that you have about yourself so that we can come to understand the beauty and the real quality and the talent that your mind and your way of communication and your way of articulating things actually has? Because each one of us has a particular gift to give, and it's all going to be different. So what gifts does your Mercury possess, even if it's retrograde, or maybe especially because it's retrograde?